What's going on, everyone? It's Kochyy here, and I have the stats and skills analysis video for you featuring the 1000 Year Blood War Volume 5 characters, Genryusai, Soi Fon, as well as Aizen. All the info is out. Also, shout out to Soldex, who data mined the attack data information and posted that on Reddit. I'll go over some of that as well, so thanks to them. And let's get into it. So starting with the first character, we'll just read over their stuff. Sosuke Aizen Sosuke Aizen with the spiritual pressure to crush everything. He is a ranged strong attack character with a hollow killer ability. All his attacks have a chance to inflict weaken, which combines excellently with his frenzy and 5-second debilitator skills. He also comes armed with a crawling vortex, further increasing his probability of inflicting weaken. His third strong attack is a new kind of charge attack with a third level of strength. Keep holding the button down when Aizen reaches the second stage of the attack, and he will begin the incantation for Kurohitsugi. Wait until the incantation has finished to unleash the full might of his spiritual pressure. That's not all though. His skills also include Start Barrier plus 10, and he is the first character to have 100% last ditch survival as a skill rather than a soul trait. So reading this, a couple things. He's a ranged strong attack character. Ranged characters just have a bad rep for a good reason. With a vortex strong attack and a charge skill, I've grown to kind of like charge skills now. Before I used to kind of like hate on them, I guess, a bit, but I kind of like them now. They're not too bad for me. But yeah, he has a third level of his charge, so I'm not sure how long his charge will be, how long it'll take to fully charge his strong attack, but hopefully it's not too long. The magnification of it goes from 120 to 240 to 480, so it quadruples in damage from a basic SA3, and it's interesting to see how that will work out, how long it'll take, how it'll look like, all that. But anyway, so we'll go on to the next one. Genryusai Yamamoto. Awakening the Dead in a Roar of Flames. Genryusai is a melee strong attack character with a hollow killer ability. All his attacks have a chance to inflict burn, which combined with his frenzy and 2-second debilitator skills means no enemy can escape his flaming attacks. His devastating special move also surrounds him in a vortex of flames for a short while, damaging any foes that dare to come near and setting them on fire. Genryusai, his complete mastery of fire is rounded out by his fire immunity skill, which makes him impervious to any hazards or enemy attacks that usually inflict burn. He can also unlock freeze and is immune to the effects of both freeze and burn. So reading this, melee strong attack character with burn and debilitator on everything, frenzy, and he has dual immunities with freeze and fire. That seems pretty solid right now. And with the dual immunities, I want to see how he functions in Inheritance Zone. Obviously, fire, he can walk in the fire pits and he won't lose his health. The freeze thing, being a hollow killer, there are those big freeze hollows that are kind of annoying. But even though you're immune to their freeze, they still do a lot of damage if you get hit by those things. So I'll have to see how well he functions as auto, because it really comes down to how fast his strong attack activation times are and his NAD and all that other stuff. But the next character, Soi Fon. Soi Fon is ready to go beyond her stolen Bankai. She is a melee normal attack character with a Rancor killer ability. Her second strong attack transforms her into a more powerful state, while also surrounding her in a vortex of wind that damages nearby opponents for a short while. Her enhancer skill prolongs the effect of this boost, meaning she can keep fighting at peak damage output for longer. Her skill set is rounded out by Flurry and Poise, making her one of the most devastating normal attack characters in the game. So, didn't see this coming. Soi Fon being a NAD character with a Rancor killer. She has an enhanced boost. She has an enhancer skill, so it's a 20-second boost, and it's a transform, so it'll be similar to how 1000 Year Blood War Bankai Ichigo is, where he transforms. He gets increased magnifications on his NAD and strong attacks, so he just overall does a bit more damage, right? But yeah, Flurry Poise with a PvE killer, so clearly they made her designed with PvE in mind, kind of like Yami. They didn't just limit her to a PvP killer, and then in which she only does that extra damage in PvP. She should be pretty decent for Inheritance Zone and stuff when they have boosted killers. It's going to be really interesting to see the kind of damage she does, how her autoing capabilities are, because there's still a lot in the air with how her NAD is and stuff. Being a NAD character, you know, your NAD is obviously important. Is her NAD fast? You know, how much area does it cover? All that stuff. But we'll look further into the characters now. So starting off with Aizen. So Aizen is a mind attribute character. He's a Soul Reaper affiliation. He has 1094 stamina, 638 attack, 354 defense, 348 focus, and 802 SP. He has Hollow Killer once again, and then his further into his kit here, he has Recharge 12% as his soul trait, and his skills are Bruiser 20%, Frenzy, Devastation 40, Debilitator 5 seconds, Sprinter +1, Last Ditch Survival 100%, and Start Barrier +10. And here we have the attack data. This is courtesy of Soldex. He posted this on Reddit. Looking at his data here, his normal attacks, he has a 4-hit range string. Again, weaken on everything. With Debilitator, strong attack 1 is a ranged 40% magnification, range collision, strong attack. So that's probably going to be something like Quincy Ichigo's SA1. I believe that's 40% magnification. If I remember, also Mind Ukiura has a 40% magnification ranged SA1. So it's going to be similar in that kind of category, where it's a projectile that just shoots forward and keeps traveling forward, and should travel like fairly quickly. I guess it's up to what they decide to do with it, but yeah, think of something like Quincy Ichigo of SA1, personally. SA2 is moving vortex, 20 hits. You know, it is what it is. And SA3 is a charge strong attack with an extra layer of charge. So you can see the magnification goes here from 120 to 240 and then to 480. So it's an insane amount of damage, and it becomes full screen range when fully charged. I don't know the charge duration, but full screen range and that much damage is pretty crazy. I mostly see this being useful, obviously, in co-op. More so if you're the host. If you're the host and there are no underground enemies, or if you're using that item that can hit underground enemies, the Zet Pill, then if you fully charge this and it's a full screen, you can pretty much like clear a room with this Inheritance Zone, which I think is pretty cool. Not very useful for, obviously, people that are not host, because there's no point in really charging it that much other than to nuke the bosses down, because your skill won't go through the waves. It'll stop at the first wave because of the lag. There's a delay being a non-host, but for hosts, charge skills are always especially useful for clearing multiple waves. For non-host, you know, only the fully charging it to like the second state here is good enough. But yeah, other than that, the rest of his kit, not too impressed. Range collision, projectile, SA1, and the SA2 being a vortex. You know, in guild quests, people will definitely keep this guy level 1 just because of the vortex. You know, it'll be bonus and you can get more combo with him, or you can get more points with him because you're using a bonus vortex. As a character in guild quests, in PvE, in regular co-op and PvE, I don't think this SA1 is very good at all. It'll probably be very narrow and just push things away and push things around. SA2, you have to kind of combo it with the SA1. So SA2, you have to group them all up and then use SA1, and that's going to be kind of his like bread and butter combo, I guess. And then he has the SA3 if he just wants to nuke everything else. But for guild quests, this SA1's actually pretty good. If you've seen some of, like, I have some Quincy Ichigo, maybe I only have one actually, I'm not sure, but I do have a Quincy Ichigo guild quest video on my channel, and when you use the SA1 and it's these narrow corridors, it just full clears the room. So this will be pretty good in guild quests when he's bonus, but other than that, for general PvE, not very useful by itself. You have to combo with SA2. But yeah, that's enough about Aizen. Overall, I don't think he's all that amazing. Again, I don't know how long it takes to charge this SA3, but if it's not too long comparatively to a regular charge, then I think it's alright, especially if you're host and you're clearing basically a full room with that. But anyway, we'll move on to the next character. Alright, the next character is Speed Genryusai. He is a Soul Reaper Captain affiliation. He has 1100 stamina, 648 attack, 347 defense, 350 focus, and 792 SP. He has the Hollow Killer, and looking further into his kit, his soul trait is Strong Attack Recharge Time 12%, and his skills are Bruiser 20%, Frenzy, Devastation 40, Debilitator plus 2 seconds, Sprinter plus 1, Fire Duration, and Freeze Duration minus 100%. So looking pretty solid, just based on his stats and skills. You know, good killer, good soul trait, frenzy, and here we have his attack data. It doesn't really specify some of the things here, but I'll get into it. His normal attacks, 4-hit string, standard stuff. His strong attack 1 is a apparently it is a beam type strong attack, so not exactly like Aizen and Belief Toshiro, Power Aizen and Heart Toshiro. It's not exactly the same as their SA1, but it's something similar to maybe, I think, Swimsuit Hallibell or Swimsuit Soi Fon, their type of SA1. It's not exactly the same as the other two, which I think is better. But anyway, that's a good strong attack to have. Honestly, it's pretty good. Covers a lot of AoE. You just have to line it up, really. His SA2 is supposedly a cone-shaped strong attack, so similar to Thousand Blood Warrior Toshiro, Hakone, Mugetsu, as well as Kokuto. So another good strong attack 2 to have. And then his strong attack 3 is just a standard full screen strong attack, which is always a welcome addition. So going over everything, he seems pretty solid. You know, beam strong attack 1, cone shaped strong attack 2, and full screen strong attack 3. I think it's pretty good solid kit for PvE. He does have double immunities, so like I said, we'll have to see how he does in autoing. The fire immunity is mostly just for, you know, maps that have fire pools. Otherwise, it's not really too relevant. The freeze duration is also it's very nice, especially because he is a hollow killer. Like I said, there are those big freeze hollows, so he won't get frozen by them, but they still do a lot of damage. But yeah, it's definitely comes down to the gameplay. Like I said, to see what his strong attacks, how fast they are, the cast times, his NAD, everything like that. And he has the potential to be a great auto unit for speed, but also just a very strong PvE character. For guild quests, I think you're still going to want to pick Thousand Year Blood Warrior Yoruichi over him. Actually, I don't think, I know. Thousand Year Blood Warrior Yoruichi will clear any guild quest much faster than this Yamamoto. She's faster than him. She has more flash steps, and she has a strong attack reset on her special. Obviously he's bonus, you're gonna pick him, but if you're deciding between two speed hollow killers, she's still the best for guild quests. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for Yama. Really looking forward to his gameplay to see how the visuals and everything look. But yeah, we'll move on to the next character. And the last character we're going to look at is Thousand Year Blood Warrior Soi Fon. She is a Soul Reaper Captain affiliation, Heart attribute. She has 1111 stamina, 767 attack, 374 defense, 367 focus, and 618 SP with the Arankar Killer. Further into her kit, her soul trait is normal attack damage 20%. Her skills are Long Reach 20%, Berserker 30%, Enhancer, Poise, Flurry, Devastation 20, and Sprinter +1. Looking into her attack data, she has a 4-hit melee string. Her strong attack 1 is apparently like a lunge type strong attack. Her strong attack 2, this is her boost. She has Enhancer, so it's a 20-second buff. And it's a split magnification. According to this thing, it says that it surrounds her in a vortex that damages nearby opponents for a short while. So it's some kind of like miniature vortex, self-vortex kind of thing. I'm not really sure what that'll look like. I guess it just kind of pulls enemies in for a second and then there's the explosion at the end. So I guess that's something. But the boost, it does transform her, so it will increase her magnifications, similar to Thousand Year Blood War Bankai Ichigo, Can't Fear Your Own World Noitora. Any character that has a transform boost, or just a transform in general, their magnifications increase when they transform, so their NAD goes up, their strong attacks go up, and they just overall do more damage. Strong attack 3 is a full screen strong attack. So This Soi Fon, when I see this, you know, heart attribute character with flurry poise and a Rancor killer. When you add all those things up, you think like, oh, were they trying to make a character to counter Noitora in PvP? And honestly, if they were, they failed, because there's no way this Soi Fon will be able to do that against Noitora. Maybe like really badly built ones that, you know, aren't slotted or don't have very good accessories or something like that. But she's still a mind captain, just like Unohana is, and Unohana gets destroyed by Noitora. So, you know, Noitora is gonna destroy this Soi Fon just as easily, in my opinion. And she doesn't have any status effects or anything in her kit that can give her, like, you know, a bit of edge through RNG. She has a boost, which is nice, but like I said, just having this 20% killer isn't really going to make a difference getting to Noitora, in my opinion. And the way they gave this killer and they made it a Rancor instead of Espada, obviously they designed her to be more PvE oriented, so they're clearly making these flurry poise characters, especially with the Yami, the last one. They're branching out with them and making them more PvE oriented instead of just PvP, and it's an interesting take on it. I'll have to see. I mean, we'll have to see how she functions really for autoing, because you're still going to want to use SP characters for any sort of PvE content when you're playing manually, and even on auto, SP characters still are what you want to lead with. So it's really up in the air what her autoing and PvE viability will be. It really comes down to gameplay. If her NAD is just ridiculous or something like that, maybe her NAD is like Can't For Your Own World Nell, and she has lunging NAD and she just covers the entire like screen in seconds, and she auto stuff in like a minute or something, you know, maybe something crazy like that. It's still up in the air to see, but right now not too impressed by this. And here are the filler for this banner. So surprisingly, they have round 1 of Thousand Year Blood War, which is crazy. It's the first time we've ever had other seasonal / exclusive, you know, manga units as filler in a completely different banner. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. These units are all pretty solid. Byakuya, not so much. Ginjo, I don't really like him. Jushiro's like alright. Kensei's mostly a link. Tag Team Ichigo's a good auto unit, good vortex, and alright. You know, Soul Reaper, Killer for power, and Tag Team Renji is just godly. Amazing kit after all this time. Havoc, everything. He's such a great unit. One of the top units definitely amongst all these. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this analysis video for these units. Like I said, gameplay still plays a lot of parts about how the final decision comes, but right now, Genryusai, I'd still probably put Aizen and then Soi Fon. It really just comes down to what their strong attacks and stuff is. Soi Fon could still be really good. I'm hoping her NAD is something outstanding. I'm hoping her NAD is like Can't For Your Own World Nell, because I think that'd be really nice. Not so much for epic raids, because the jumping around is kind of annoying, but for general PvE, even in Guild Quest when she's bonus, she'd be really nice with that lunging NAD, as well as having 4 flash steps on top of that. But yeah, interesting take on these characters. I'll have to see what they look like when gameplay comes out. I'll make another video then, but other than that, let me know what you guys think about these units. If your opinions on them changed, or you know, you will still go all in for them, or you're going to save your orbs, or you know, whatever you decide to do. But let me know what you think. I hope you guys found this video helpful and informative, and I'll talk to you all later.